there, how are you doing? In this video, we're going to talk about how to really work with your virtual assistant team so that they're not just doing like one-off tasks. So you're actually really building a business and delegating in the best way possible so that you can utilize an offshore team at a drastically reduced price from hiring in the US and get even more done than if you had a team all in person. So let's dive in. But first, I want to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I share lots of tips and tricks on entrepreneurship and building your business. I'm Diane Prince. I sold a business for $28 million to a public company, and I've built and scaled and exited a few businesses since then. And now I help entrepreneurs to do similar things. So let's talk about virtual assistants. In my business today, which is staffing offshore virtual assistants, as well as business coaching, and the way that I have operated and run my business is besides the things that I do, so I now only do the things that are totally in my zone of genius and the things that are really fun for me, and my offshore team does everything else. And I'm going to tell you why and how you can do that too. My goal, what I set out to do, was to create a business where it was my main responsibility is to articulate my vision to my team and then empower them to execute it. And that's what I did. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. So first, let's talk about the task rabbit trap. Okay. This is what most founders get wrong, is treating VAs like button pushers. Okay. It can result in micromanaging, burnout, stagnation. And there's a huge missed opportunity of building a capable, engaged remote team. A lot of times, people hire VAs or think of VAs as just like freelancers from Fiverr just to do one-off tasks. But if that's the way that your mindset is, that you're thinking about virtual assistants and offshore talent, if you can change, or we're going to talk about how to change your thought process on that so that you can really see them as stellar talent and team members. And so let's dive in. Okay, so virtual assistants, you want to have the team member mindset. Okay, virtual assistants are professionals. So invest in them like you would onshore hires. Provide context for them, provide training, provide clarity. They're going to need to know what their expectations are and empower them to make decisions and play to their strengths. This is something that a lot of people I see get wrong, a lot of founders. So for me, one thing that happened once is I started giving more responsibility to one of my virtual assistants who was exchanging sales messages or exchanging with prospects. And there was one thing he said, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was one thing he said where I was like cringing and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have said it that way. Don't say it that way. But then like it had already been done. And guess what? He totally closed the deal. And so I have these lessons a lot where I'm like, just because somebody's native language is not English, just because they live in a different part of the world, does not mean that they don't have great ideas and that they have valid ideas to bring to the table. So just because people might do things differently doesn't mean that they're not even sometimes better than I would do things. Okay. Yep. I do not know everything and most founders do not. So how to make VAs successful? Onboard virtual assistants like you would any hire. Okay. Or if your training is not great, if you're not great at onboarding, then you want to change that. Okay. And you really want to onboard your virtual assistants as if you're hiring someone in person. Okay. Share your vision with them, share your mission, your goals, your processes. They'll probably help. You're probably going to have them help you build some processes. What I do is every quarter, I have a visioning document that I edit every quarter, and I make sure that the whole team sees it so that they understand where we're going as a business. I really involve them as a team. We also meet once a week and we talk about metrics and progress. Another thing I do, we have a 5-part sales plan, and I used ChatGPT to help me write it. I did a lot of editing, and then I presented it to my team, so that right now we're towards the end of second quarter this year. So my team is digesting the sales plan, and they're working behind the scenes to decide who's going to do what and back me up to support me on our sales plan. And having the team to be able to do that at such a low cost is absolutely, it's kind of funny, because I have I've built businesses before. I've had millions of dollars in payroll, and now it's just such a fraction of the cost, and it's really it's so much less drama. So an example of how virtual assistants really can become part of your daily life, so that you can do the things that you love to do and the things in your zone of genius. Like, for example, with one of our clients recently, we utilized AI, and that's another thing too. You want make sure your virtual assistants know how to use AI. AI, replaces a lot of things that humans do, but we still need humans to actually engineer the AI and put it together. So for one of our clients, the A team utilized AI to clear hundreds of emails. Okay, so before we started with this client, her LinkedIn inbox was overflowing with over 3 months of unread messages, and we used AI to clear hundreds of them in just a week, all while staying true to her tone of voice. So now she can stay focused on her business development and growing the company without worrying about mixed messages or stalled conversations. So that's huge. And by giving your virtual assistants empowerment to do that is really is going to be an entire life changer for you. Okay, so now we'll talk about how to build a virtual assistant culture that works. Okay, so you ready? We already talked about onboarding like you would any hire. Okay, and sharing your mission. Provide resources and weekly feedback. Okay, with my team, we meet once a week. We follow loosely the Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS. That's a weekly meeting, and where we track metrics. We also track their goals, their tasks. We do a weekly review. That is really important. That to me is a sacred hour that I make sure that I attend every single week. And I also always show up on time for my virtual assistants. And I have to practice what, my core values are, and I have to exude them as well. Like I have to practice what I preach, basically. Okay. So you're just going to get so much more when you're able to empower your virtual assistants. Okay. So here's some simple shifts to make that you can do now. Okay. So instead of just giving your virtual assistants a task list, create that vision document. Okay. And also a mission brief, what your mission is in your business. Okay. So for example, my vision in my business, Diane Prince Co., is to make entrepreneurship easier, not easy, but easier for anyone who wants to start a company. Okay. So that's my big vision. And my mission is we enable entrepreneurs through training, content, providing virtual assistance, and also speaking. So the mission is really like how you do it. And each person on your team needs to know what their mission is within your mission. So tell them what success looks like when you onboard them, and on a regular basis when you check in. Okay, so you're going to want to set shared outcomes weekly and equip them to succeed. Make sure they have the resources that they need. And one resource is going to be some of your time. Okay. This is going to save you a ton of time, but don't think that you can just plug someone in and that they're going to know what to do. You do have to spend some time with people. But what I found is the little bit of time that I spend with them, I get so much out of it every minute, hour that I invest in my virtual team. I just get it back in spades. And finally, let your virtual assistants own projects, not just complete tasks. Okay, so my virtual assistants now, we operate on quarterly rocks, which are the most important things we need to get done in those 90 days. And my virtual assistants, each person has a rock and they own it. It's up to them. It's their responsibility to get things completed. Okay, so it does not all fall on me. Everything's changed. Life has changed, and I love running this business. I'm so chill, and it's been really amazing. So also, just one quick note: if you are looking at hiring a virtual assistant and you're going through an agency, one benefit of an agency like the A team is that we we vet people, we recruit people, so you don't have to go do all that stuff, but we also help to manage them. We help them, we strategize with them. We build a community of virtual assistants. And one of the best features is that sometimes people aren't going to work out. It's just true, and we'll replace them. So you don't want to get locked into a virtual assistant agreement where you're stuck with one person or the same team, and you have to give like a month's notice and you can't have any recourse or any replacements or things like that. So that's something to really look at when you're looking for a virtual assistant. If you're interested and want to talk to us about it, there's going to be a link in the notes. And so in conclusion, TLDR, your virtual assistant can be so much more than support. Okay, they can be your secret weapon if you're using them correctly. Okay, so invest in your virtual assistants, your offshore people. When I say virtual assistants, I mean all kinds of talent that's offshore. Okay, it could even be developers. We do have developers on our team who are AI engineers. Okay, so invest in your virtual team like you would any key hire, and you'll see the payoff. So if you want to see how this works in real life, book a call with us. Otherwise, post your comments or questions in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So glad to see you here, and I will see you in the next video.